Super Rugby Trans-Tasman, the Friday games. We've seen the Hurricanes and the Highlanders both get pretty convincing wins. Importantly for both these sides, it means they are still alive in this competition. The Hurricanes need the Blues and the Crusaders to drop games tomorrow. But both these teams winning does mean that the Chiefs, their chance to pass anybody is over. So that's official that the final game is essentially a dead rubber. But yeah, the Highlanders result has certainly put the pressure on the Crusaders and the Blues to go out and get results in their game. The first game, the Hurricanes and the Reds, bit of a game of two halves. And I think the Reds will overall be pretty disappointed with their defence. They may also be a little bit disappointed in the refereeing. It did seem a bit bizarre. A couple of the calls maybe a bit harsh. You like to think they kind of even out over the course of the game, but don't know if they did. It's in this one, to be fair. Good news, though, for Ngani Laumape fans is he managed to sign off in a big winning fashion and managed to score a try in that game as well. He got the first try of the game on 3 minutes, a line-out move from just less than 20 metres out for the Hurricanes. And he hit the ball at some pace. And who better to go over and score the first try of the game. 7-0 to the Canes. Tupou went close, but was ruled a double movement not long later for the Reds. Laumape went close again, almost got a double. It looked like he got it on first viewing, but he did drop the ball over the line on 13 minutes. It was all from a big Ruben Love line break, and I think he's really benefited from the minutes he's been able to get with the absence of Jackson Garden-Bishop and Hickey this season. 19 minutes, the Reds went close again, but knocked it on. And that was kind of the story of this first half, is that the Reds did plenty, but were really unable to convert on some of their chances. Lomax did get a yellow card for a kind of shoulder to the head on Fotuaika, I think it was. If you're a Reds fan, you may be looking at that and go, man, why wasn't it red? They said there was enough of a dip, the Reds player coming in low to act as mitigation, so the card is yellow, not red. And the Reds do well with the yellow card because McDermott gets a try off the back of a big scrum, which was actually looking pretty solid. They had advantage from the scrum itself. He runs a good line to go over, does Tate, and it's 7 points apiece, 7-0 during the yellow card. They will be disappointed, though, as towards the end of the yellow card, they did give away a penalty, the Reds, so Geordie kicked that one to make it 10-7 at halftime. Yellow card, the Reds only finished with a 4-point advantage, having conceded those three. But the halftime stats, the Reds have had 69% possession, 70% territory, and the Canes' handling's been poor. They've knocked it on 6 times to the Reds 3, despite having only 30% of the ball. Run meters are 297 to 412. The Reds should have been bossing it at halftime, but they're not. And you give some of that credit to the Hurricanes' defense. They're tackling at 85%. They've made 94 tackles. Reds, on the other hand, they're at an absolutely atrocious 61%. Terrible. Brad Thorne will not be a happy chappy. And it's been a theme of this campaign in Trans-Tasman as the Reds' defense has not held up, which has been really disappointing. Second half, the Reds' defense is in scramble mode again. Dalguna gets yellow carded for a offside tackle that he makes when he's still buried in there at the ruck. It seemed like a pretty quick-fire yellow card if you're maybe a Reds fan. My mum was sitting here watching the game and she was calling it harsh, and she's a Blues fan, so she wanted the Hurricanes to win. So if she's saying it harsh, maybe it's pretty harsh. I don't know, man. It was, usually you get a warning before you get yellow cards, but if it's cynical stuff, they do card it. Could have gone with a penalty, but anyway, it's a card. And the Hurricanes, like the Reds did earlier, didn't make any mistake with the extra man. Love went over for a try, his first try in Super Rugby. Extra man in the gap, and he goes over at 17 points to 7. Paenga Amosa, though, interestingly, for the Reds, manages to hit back. They go through like 16 plus phases, the Reds, with the man down to make it 17-14. So the yellow card at that point's even. The yellow card ends even at 17-14. Absolute game on, just that penalty being the difference. However, the final 20 minutes, the Canes, man, despite the fact they kept trying to cough up the bloody ball, they did eventually manage to get some tries. Geordie Barrett, big line break, set up Coles out on the wing, 22-14. Hegarty got a yellow card for a deliberate knock dead, and it's another one where it's like, it's a penalty try as well. He's trying to race one of the Hurricanes players to to bang the ball down. In his act of trying to bang the ball down, he just throws a hand at it, basically. He ends up inadvertently, I believe, knocking it. I don't think he's deliberately trying to knock it dead, but they ruled he's trying to knock it dead. I don't disagree that he knocked it dead. I just thought he was trying to slap it down rather than whack it out. But anyway, he gets yellow carded and it's a penalty try. And the way the Hurricanes were handling tonight, man, there's no guarantee they would have scored that at all. So, I don't know, it seemed tough again. One or the other, man. Either give a yellow card or give the penalty try. I guess if it's a penalty try, it's always going to be a yellow card. But anyway, it's a penalty try, 29-14. Flanders gets one from a maul on 70 to make it 36-14. That's the bonus point. And then Cole's another maul try at 43-14. The Reds like leaving their players on to play high minutes, eh? Maybe I'm just thinking of Tupou, but they looked tired. Maybe it's a fitness thing towards the end of the season. Not sure. But the final 20 was certainly tough for the Reds. Probably doesn't help to have a man down. Run meters finished 564 to 637, so it's a pretty open running game, to be fair. That's higher than normal. The Reds finished with more territory and possession, though, but their tackling percentage remains 60s. Like it was 61 half-time. It did up to 69, but damn, man, that's low. That's really low. 106 tackles made. The Canes maintained a pretty mid-80s performance at 84%, made 156. Reds conceded double the penalties, 12-6. Double the yellow cards, 2-1. Not saying the Reds would have won if the ref had been a bit less harsh on them, but based on the fact that you tackle at 69%, if I was looking for a reason to blame for the Reds' loss and a reason for the Hurricanes' success, I would be pointing my fingers at that, but probably didn't help. Yeah. Laumape busts 12 tackles. Jordy Barrett busts 15, man. Guys don't even usually get to double figures. And you got two guys past 10. It's crazy. McDermott missed 6 and made 5. Henry in the midfield missed 6, made 9. So, man, you can't be missing 6 tackles in a game. Really bad. So, yeah. But overall, entertaining game. First half especially. First 60 minutes really was a bit of an arm wrestle, bit of a ding-dong affair. But, yeah, got a bit ugly for the Reds. But, I mean, good on the Hurricanes. I've been a little bit hard on them this season, but they've gone and smashed them 43-14, so good on them. Shame to see Laumape go. He's signing off with a bit of a bang. He's been a good servant to New Zealand rugby. I wish him all the best overseas. Adi Savea picked up a bit of a knock in the game, which is a bit concerning. He'll go for a scan, he said, but yeah, overall, pretty entertaining game, just with a bit of a blowout at the end, which made it a bit of a damp squib for the last 20. My thoughts. Next game, Highlanders. Mission was to go get a bonus point in Canberra after last week's performance. That looked like a pretty tough job, and after first half, it also looked like a pretty tough job. But honest to goodness, what's not tough is deciding which colours clash with each other and which ones don't. Right? Like, my kids are 5 and 3, and they know their colours. If one team's wearing white, the other team shouldn't be wearing white. I don't give a damn what your contract with your sponsor says that says you have to wear your away jersey X number of times per season. If the bloody Brumbies wear white, you jokers need to take your blue jersey. It's not rocket science. We've seen that for years in Super Rugby. The Bulls did that a few years ago where some jokers took a clashing jersey. At least the Bulls had the decency to change at half time. Maddening. 2 teams in white is not a great spectacle. But the game itself had some drama and was good. But the jersey thing is honestly such a joke. It really grinds my gears. Because it's been going on for such a long time and you don't see it in other sports. At least I don't think. I follow a few other sports and I don't see seemingly pretty obviously stupid clashes like that. Anyway. Ikitau gets the first try of the game. Valtini continues his great season that he's having. Big busting line break. And Simone's pass is a pretty good one. Ikitau gets a try on the left wing. Probably the worst conversion attempt you've seen of the season from Bailey Kunzel, but his first crack playing 10 this season. He hasn't played 10 since Super Rugby AU last year. 5-0 to the Brumbies. The Highlanders strike back through Dixon. It's Ash Dixon. Now, it was a maul, of course. He's one of the top try scorers of the competition, Dixon. He may be out and out the top try scorer at the moment. because he gets a try in this game. But the maul defence for the Brumbies was good initially. First couple of times the Highlanders mauled it, they were able to contain it, but not this time. Dixon went over, 7 points to 5, Hurricanes in front. Aaron Smith went over for his first one on 26 minutes, and he looked like he really, 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 really wants to get to a final. He was absolutely driving this team forward, as he's known to do, but even more so than normal. He really, really wants to play a final. Absolutely. Naraki beats his first tackler, gets the pass to Smith. The TMO does have a look to make sure there's no obstruction. How the hell can he tell? Because both teams are in white. I don't know. 14 points to 5. 32 minutes though, it was the Brumbies' turn to show the Highlanders they can master a bit of a good line-out maul as well. The backs even got in there to add a few kgs. Lonergan got that one. That's Lockie, 14 points to 12. Absolute game on. Valtini puts a huge hit on Scott Gregory. They're fired up. Tucker, the big Brumbies lock, hoofs it downfield when he wins a turnover right before half-time. It was magnificent. How often have you seen him ever kick the ball? Never. Brumbies, they hoof it. Highlanders kick it out. It's half-time. Close game at half-time, just like the first one. Possession's pretty tight, 49-51. Territories, 43-57, so the Highlanders edging a bit more of the territorial battle. Run meters, though, compared to the first game, much lower. 108 to 96 at halftime. Tackling percentage for the Brumbies, 76, so also not the best. Highlanders, 82, not the highest. Second half, interestingly, the Highlanders, kind of like the Hurricanes, have a 20-minute period of joy. But it's the first 20 in the second half rather than the second 20. Like, usually, you often think, a lot of times, Kiwi teams, especially the All Blacks, but 60 minutes onwards, that's when they're often able to kind of blow teams away, as was what happened in the first game. But for the Highlanders, it's immediately after half-time, man. Aaron Smith gets his second try on 47. It's from a big scrum, big period of pressure, to be fair, for the Highlanders. And he kind of sells the dummy with his eyes. He's looking right as he continues to move forward. And by the time the defenders realize he's not going to pass it, it's probably too late. 21 points to 12. Smith, as I mentioned, being fired up. When the Brumbies failed to hook the ball on their own scrum, they got a free kick. He was so keen to go fast. He kicks it clean out on the full. Not his best moment, but you could just kind of feel that high tempo energy from him, and that was evident there. Harmon got one on 57 minutes. It was an interesting, and the Highlanders are honestly just so deadly from line-out moves. You can't give them that opportunity to attack from a line-out because their first phase is just deadly. I mean, how many of their tries are line-out moves? A lot of them. Pretty much all of them, apart from maybe the Naraki one. It's either some kind of set piece. It's just what they do. I know rugby teams generally have high strike rates from these kind of areas, but the Highlanders, especially at line-out time. And the Harmon try is probably the best example. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. They look like they're going to set a maul again, but it's a decoy. They have another pod go closer to the jumper, kind of where the first jumper would be. And Harmon's little second pod's able to go over. They missed the conversion. It's 26-12. And then 4 minutes later, the bonus point try from Tompkinson. He crashes over. It's Smith's passing, man. The commentators called it threading the needle. It's a bullet and it's the right man. He skips one guy to hit the man, come at an angle, which is Tompkinson. He is just phenomenally good at that kind of play. He's able to just pick the right man, get to the breakdown fast, pick the right man, and the pass is a bullet. It's like scrum half 101, but he does it better than most. Yes, that makes it 33 points to 12, and that's the score, man. The Brumbies don't score any more points, neither do the Highlanders. The Brumbies are scoreless in the second half, which will be especially disappointing. The game does go back and forth. Both sides kind of go close. The Brumbies line-up struggled a wee bit. Jimeno won a good turnover. Honeck at one point looked to kind of slap the ball down, which was a weird one, because if there's a deliberate act, that one looked deliberate as whack in the kind of middle of the field. It wasn't like a period under huge pressure, which is maybe the difference, but yeah. The Brumbies did have a last chance right on like 79 minutes as the Highlanders were kind of struggling to close the game out, but they grub it, they couldn't get it. Highlanders in with a 5-meter line out, and they gather it and kick the ball out. So it's the bonus point win. I'm not sure how many of us backed them to go into Canberra and get the bonus point win, but boy, did they do it. Congratulations to them. They've given themselves about as good a chance as they can as to making that final. Position 48-52, territory 39-61. Those are both in favour of the Landers. Knock-ons is 4 apiece, so kind of relatively low if you consider the second game. Did I write the knock-ons? I think the knock-ons at half-time was 6-3. So, yeah, the handling seemed to be a wee bit better in this one. Run meters 302-291, so pretty tight. Brumbies lineouts 13 from 16, so a little bit off. The Highlanders were a bit more efficient, 18 from 19. Both sides in the 80s for their tackling percentage. So, yeah, fewer run meters in this game. Solid defence. Banks gets 6 defenders beaten. Scott makes 12 out of 13 tackles. Aaron Smith beats 4 defenders. As I said, he was fired up and zippy. He even said, "Good luck to the Rebels," in his post-match interview, because obviously they've put their best foot forward, but their fate depends on what happens with the 2 other games, not the Chiefs one, but the Blues and the Crusaders. If both those sides lose, the Highlanders will go through top, because they are currently top of the log on 23 points. Hurricanes are second on 21. So if either the Blues or the Crusaders win, Hurricanes drop. And whether these guys pass, well, the Blues, if they win, they'll pass the Highlanders, because they've got a already greater points difference compared to the Highlanders. The Highlanders are on plus 103. The Blues are already on plus 109. But for the Crusaders, they are on plus 71. So they need a 33-point win or more over the Rebels. Bonus point and win with a margin of 33 or more, which is quite doable for the Crusaders. But that's what they need. That's their mission going into Sydney tomorrow. So the Highlanders, yep, they've put their best foot forward, as I said. They did what was not an easy task, going into Canberra, getting a bonus point win after they'd, knocked over the Hurricanes the week before. So yeah, we will see. Blues play, Crusaders play, and then we will find out how things are going to line up. Anyway, interesting games. You guys let me know your thoughts. Refereeing, Aaron Smith, jersey clashes, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.